Eila and Something Shiny, chapter number 0. Come on back after the break. Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Show Board Game Reviews. This is a YouTube channel dedicated to the tabletop gaming hobby, and this video is part of a video series looking at Eila and Something Shiny. Now, Eila and Something Shiny is a very family-oriented one, or actually it's listed as a one-player game, but it pretty much should be called a one-family style game, because this is a family style game, much like a chapter book and a campaign style game kind of rolled into one. And in this video, I'm going to play through chapter number 0. Now, if you have any comments or questions, make sure you leave them down in the YouTube comments down below. I'll be sure to get to them as quickly as I can. You can also feel free to email me at offtheshelfboardgamereviews. That is otsbgr@gmail.com. I'll do my best to enter your email as quickly as I can. If you enjoy this content and you enjoy the content I put out there, think about supporting the channel over on Patreon. Just tossing $1 in the tip jar over on Patreon can help me cover my costs and help keep the content going out there strong. No gimmicks, no games, just $1 in the tip jar just to help me cover my costs. If you enjoy this video, series, click that like button and click that subscribe button, and you know it, as always, thanks for watching. But back into things, this is Eila and Something Shiny, and like I said, this is a very family-oriented game. It is listed as a one-player game, but you'll see what I mean here when I talk about more of a one-family game versus a one-player game. But in this video right here, I'm going to play through chapter number 0. Now, the first thing I need to impress upon you before you go anywhere is Eila is extremely family-oriented, and each single chapter tells a story. Now, every one of these chapters and every one of these stories is going to slowly evolve the storyline, but the most important thing is it's actually going to evolve the gameplay. Chapter 0 is meant as a very nice, easy introductory story. Matter of fact, it's so simple. I would say that probably a 5 or a 6-year-old can play it very easily with a little bit of minor adult supervision. When it comes to some of the reading, that'd be about the only thing I would suggest when we get to that point. But the game does play all the way up through 0 all the way up through 5 chapters, and by the time you get to the 5th chapter, there's a lot more mechanics, a lot more stuff going on, and we're starting to bring up the age level for the game at that point. And not only that, there's a standard mode for the game, there's also an advanced mode, which actually makes the game much more difficult, much more challenging, and also brings up the age requirement for the game. Still remains a one-person or one-family style game, but it does raise up the difficulty and the challenges. Now, why did I take the time to just go ahead and say all this up? The reason why I'm saying this is because don't judge this game on chapter number 0. I'm going to do a chapter 0, a chapter 1, and a chapter 2 gameplay. If you want to see where a good baseline for this game is, if you're looking at this game as an adult wanting to play this game, go to chapter number 2. If you want to see playing this game as a family game with your younger children and see how great this game can be for a family with younger kids, stick right here with chapter number 0, and let's go ahead and get that started. Now, this video is going to be a teach through and a play through at the same time. Now, if you enjoy this style of gameplay, stick around and I'll teach you how to play the game while playing through the scenario itself. But if what you really want is just more of a non-spoilery, because yes, there's going to be spoilers here because I'm going to play through the chapter. If you want a non-spoilery tutorial, check out my actual tutorial video where I'll try to teach the game without as many spoilers so you can actually enjoy the gameplay. Because one of the things they definitely emphasize when you're playing this game, don't go ahead, don't spoil it. It is a storyline. So the very first thing we need to do is we're going to start with chapter number 0, which is the chapter entitled The Tree. And there's going to be some cards inside this box which are specific to chapter number 0. And the first thing you're going to notice is it's going to say, hey, stop! You don't want to spoil the game, right? Well, like I said, this game is trying to be as family friendly as possible. So all these cards are going to be double-sided. We actually want to see the other side of the cards. That what is going to come with the story, the objective card, and then we're going to see this deck of cards. Now, these cards are going to be numbered all the way from 0 all the way up to 11. We can remove this at this point. But what we want is we want to separate these decks into 3 different individual decks. We have the green deck, which is going to be 1 through 5. We have the blue deck, which is going to be 6 through 8. And then we have the red deck, which is going to be 9 through 11. Or as the game kind of describes it, this is the present, which is going to go right here and tell us our present story. This is the future, and this is events that may occur in our current timeline. This is always going to be a double-sided card, and this double-sided card in the advanced chapters is going to tell us our objectives on a standard game and on the advanced difficulty. But since the zero chapter doesn't have a standard or advanced difficulty, we're going to simply place it right here without any differentiators. It doesn't matter which side is going to go up. Now the fun part is we can put everything over on what I'm going to refer to as Eila Cam, where we can go through the story. And we're going to use this to see the cards so you can see the evolving storyline that's going on here. But let's go ahead and show you exactly what's going to happen here, because what will normally happen is we will get a prologue little comic book. Now since the zero chapter doesn't have a prologue, we're not going to have it, so I'm not going to reveal any spoilers here, but do know that after we get through the prologue, we're going to look at the prologue, we're going to play the game, and then after that, if we succeed, we're going to get this final ending little comic book, which will advance the storyline. Now like I said, chapter number 0 does not come with anything like that, so the only thing we need to do right now is just start off with a certain amount of hearts based on the chapter we're playing. And since we are playing chapter number 0, we start with 3 hearts. If we could get through the full storyline without losing all of our hearts and get through every one of these chapters, this is one common thing for all the chapters, is you have exactly 1 week to get through them. If you get through the storyline before the week is up, you will also win. But if you don't get through the storyline before you lose all your hearts, or before time is up, you are going to lose the game. Now our objective is going to be listed right here. Now for chapter 0, we basically just need to get 2 knowledge. And we're going to track all our possessions over here on these 2 tracks right here. We have our actual tangible rewards over here, such as food, money, and magic stars. And then we have our intangible resources over here, which is going to be energy, knowledge, and fear. Now these individual banks can never have more than a total of 8 of their individual things. So 3 over here, these 3 resources can never have more than a total of 8. These resources never more than a total of 8. But on the right hand side, our intangible resources, we have one thing which is a little bit different, and that's going to be our fear. The fear is the one thing that will trump everything over here in this bank. If this bank is completely full with energy and knowledge and we gain fear, we will actually start losing these resources. As a matter of fact, if every one of these squares gets completely filled up with fear and we need to take fear after that point, the only thing we are going to do is we're going to take wounds and we're going to lose those hearts. Again, we run out of hearts or we run out of time, we are going to lose the game. So that's the basic flow of the game. It is a very strong story-oriented game. And when you're playing this game with your younger kids, that's all you need to teach them. Just teach them, don't run out of hearts, don't run out of time, and we just need to find those resources, get through a week of time before we run out of those resources, and now let's go ahead and start that story. And every one of these stories is always going to start with the present, and the present is going to be this deck of cards right here. We simply grab the top card, and we read it, and the story begins. An invitation. Eila, don't you want to stroll around? The forest is full of surprises. So basically what we got now, like I said, this is pretty much a chapter book, and we're going to be able to make decisions here. The decision we make is going to determine if this card is going to go into the past or into the future. If we make this choice right here, this card will go into the future. We may encounter this card at a later date. But if we make this B choice right here, this card is now going to be added to our storyline. Not immediately, it's going to be added into the future. But this card is going to be removed from the game. Basically, it's going to go into our past. We will never see this card again. So the first thing we need to do is make a choice. Do we want to advance the story immediately and get rid of this card? Or do we want to get food? Well, I'll tell you one thing that's very important about this game right now. Every single day, you must burn off energy at the end of every single day. If you cannot sacrifice 1 energy, you will lose a heart. You also going to notice there's a nice little conversion area down here. If you convert 2 food, you can convert it to 1 energy. If you already get 5 knowledge, you can convert 5 knowledge into a magic star. Well, these can be very important conversions at a later date. No spoilers, but this is going to be very important to make sure we're watching these kind of things right now immediately. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this card right here, and we're going to decide that we're going to choose option number A. And once we choose option number A, this card would normally be in the present outside the Eila Cam, but just to show you where the card would normally go, card is going to go right here, and now we get to pick our reward here. Since we're going to pick our reward of gaining 1 food, we will gain the food into our tangible resources, and then since we picked option A, we're going to follow the arrows, and this card is going to go into the future face down. That's it. Nice and simple, nice and easy gameplay. But trust me, it does get more complex. Let's go on to card number 2, over onto the Eila Cam. Card number 2 is the Great Trees Company. How would you like to spend the day, dear? Option A, play hide and seek, gain 2 energy. Option number B, listen to stories, gain 1 energy and 1 knowledge. Now, like I said, this very first Zero chapter is definitely geared to be very easy. It's actually really hard to fail this chapter, which is great for the younger kids, so that's a bonus. But understand, like I said, if you want a complexity, start heading towards chapter number 2. But we have an option here. We know that we need 2 knowledge to complete this chapter, and this card is basically giving us 2 energy, or we can gain 1 energy and 1 knowledge. Let's go ahead and take the second option, which is going to be 1 knowledge and it's going to be 1 energy. I think this will be the best decision for us. And looking at the card right here, we see the option number B gives us 1 energy and 1 knowledge, and then this card is going to go into the past. Now, normally the card would be right here as we're reading it, so since this card is going to go into the past, we're going to flip it face down and it goes directly into the past. And the next thing to do is, since we have cards left over, we're going to grab the next card. And the next card is going to be harvesting carrots. We have 2 options here. We can pull it out with our hands and gain 1 food, or option number B, we can use an item that we possibly may have to dig out multiple carrots. But here's the thing, you're going to see that this card shows that we have a requirement. So to choose option number B, we actually need to have that item. Now, the nice thing about items in the game is when you gain the items, you keep them permanently. You're not going to lose them unless a certain rule tells you to actively lose that item. But if it doesn't tell you to lose that item, you're going to keep it for the rest of the game. So if I had the basket, obviously I would pick that option right there. Since I don't have the basket, I only have the top option to choose from, and we're going to see the arrow shows that this card is going to go into the future. So looking at this card right here, we will take the 1 carrot, and now we have 2 food if we need it, and we will take this carrot card and we'll put it into the future just like this. Now remember, anytime I can always convert resources as long as I'm not interrupting an action. So since I'm not interrupting the action of activating that card, I could right now take these 2 carrots and turn to 1 energy, but I'm not worried because I do have 1 energy. So let's go ahead and look at the next card, which is going to be card number 4. Card number 4 is working part-time. Earn coins by keeping the forest clean. Option A, chill in the shade. Option B, work hard. So we have a couple options here. We can chill in the shade and just get 1 coin, which isn't that great of a resource. Or we can work hard, but this is going to cost us to spend 1 energy, which will allow us to gain 3 cards. Either way, this card is going to go into the future, which means tomorrow we are going to get the option to work hard all over again. So we'll simply take the card right here, make the choice. I think we are going to go ahead and burn that 1 energy, and we will gain 3 coins. I'm sure coins will have a purpose eventually, and I'm sure there's going to be a way for me to get energy because I have a carrot, so I'm not worried about gaining energy at a future date. I know I can at least get 1 energy. So we're going to follow the rules of this card, and this card will go into the future. If I wanted to, I could do some resource conversion, but I don't want to. So let's go and grab a card, and we will see that this is going to be our final card. Card number 5 says, Mr. Deer's Grocery. Hello, little one. How may I help you? Option A, I'm here to get some food. Option B, I like to sell these carrots. So at this point, I can use money to buy carrots, or I can sell carrots for coins. Now this is going to be the last card in this day. And the cool thing about the game is, like I said, this is a very story-driven game, so you never shuffle the cards unless the game tells you to, or unless a night phase ends. Because if you look down here on the night phase reminder card, it's going to tell you to shuffle a deck of cards. So while the first day is always going to play out fairly similar, depending on the choices we're going to make, at least for chapter number 0, after this, we're going to be shuffling this future deck of cards to make it our present deck of cards, which means the way these cards are going to come out is going to be different the next day. Now, if you look down here, you see that we have no energy at all, and you see that we can spend coins to buy carrots. I could right now spend 2 coins to buy 2 carrots, and then I can convert those 2 carrots into 1 energy, and I would still have at least 1 coin and a couple carrots left over. Now, that's something I could do. Or I could just ignore it and just keep the carrots I have because I really don't need carrots that badly. So again, now we're starting to see that we need to make choices. Either way, this card is going to go into the future, which means in the future, if I don't like the decision I made now, well, when this card comes out again in the future, I can always make different decisions or make the same decision. It really doesn't matter depending on how the story is going at that point. I'm going to decide at this point, though, that we are simply going to spend 1 coin to gain 1 carrot. Actually, I'm not even going to do that. I'm just going to show you the fact that you don't have to do anything with these cards if you don't want to. So we're going to ignore all the requirements of this card, and instead we are simply going to send this card into the future, and that is going to be the end of the day. Anytime the present deck is completely empty, that means the day is going to end, and now we're going to go to the night phase. Now there's a nice little reminder down here on the night phase of the sequence of events. First thing we're going to get the chance is we're going to add 1 or 2 items to our current goals. Then we must spend either 1 energy or 1 heart to advance the day to day number 2. And then it's going to tell us to shuffle our entire future deck for our next round. So looking at everything we got right here, let's go ahead and decide that we are going to discard 2 of these carrots, which will give us 1 energy. So we will have 1 energy, which is going to allow us to make that requirement that we have there so we don't take damage. So let's go ahead and decide that we're going to do option number 1. We'll spend 1 knowledge, and we're halfway there towards completing our goal. Next thing we need to do is either spend 1 energy or 1 life. I am going to go ahead and spend that 1 energy. And you're going to put it right here on this sequence card right here, just to let you know that day 1 is complete. We only have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and day 7. Now remember, at the end of day 7, once we place that final token there, whether it's energy or life, once we get there, if we have not completed our goal, we will lose the game. So we've paid our energy, so the only thing left to do is to shuffle this deck of cards right here. And this is going to change things, how things are going to advance the storyline, and then we are simply going to advance and start the new story from wherever that happens to be. And it's now time for day number 2. So first things first, let's go ahead and draw out the top card, and we will flip it over, and we'll go ahead and add it over here, and it's an invitation. And again, it's going to say, Ayla, don't you want to stroll around? The forest is full of surprises. Option A, gain a carrot. Option B, let's advance the storyline. Well, you know, we can basically keep doing this forever, but then we're going to run out of time. So let's go ahead and advance the storyline, which means this card is going to go to the past. The good thing, though, is that we're going to gain another card to go ahead and advance the story. So choosing option number B, we see that this card is going to go into the past, but first things first, we're going to take card number 6. And since this is a blue card, it's going to go simply into the future. Now, there's some nice little arrows over here if you ever forget how everything goes. This arrow signifies that when we draw these cards, it's going to go to the front of the deck. When we draw these cards, they're also going to go to the front of the deck. So what those nice little reminders are, anything in the future stack just simply slides right down. But this card is now going to go into the past. So I'm not going to find out what this card is until we get to day number 3. Next card up is going to be card number 4, which is going to be working part-time. Working part-time, earn coins by keeping the forest clean. Now, if I had energy, I could gain 3 coins. I don't have any energy at all, so I basically only have 1 option right now, which is going to be chill in the shade. So let's go ahead and gain a reward, which is going to be 1 coin, put us at a total of 4 coins. We will flip that over, and our next card will come out, which is going to be card number 3, which is going to be harvesting carrots. So our options are pull it out with hands, or if we happen to have this tool right here, which we don't have, we could gain 3 carrots. So again, we don't have that option. So the only thing we can do at this point is gain 1 carrot. So we'll gain the carrot, and let's go ahead and pass this card into the future. And you already know what the last card is going to be because it's the only card remaining, which is going to be Mr. Deer's Grocery. Now here we have a little bit of a problem here. If we don't get at least 1 more carrot to trade into energy, we're going to take a point of damage at the end of this day. So we're going to take 1 coin, and we're going to buy 1 carrot. Then we will use these 2 carrots to convert them both into 1 energy. And then these 2 carrots will be discarded. And then we are done with this card. Let's go and put this card back into the future. And now we get to go to our night phase. I don't have any things to put into our completion. So let's go ahead and spend 1 energy for day 2. Then we'll just simply shuffle the deck of cards right here. And again, like I said, the first chapter is extremely nice and user-friendly. It makes it super duper easy to go ahead and get this done for younger players. You're going to start seeing the more advanced difficulties and challenges as we go through this storyline. So starting day number 3. First card up, card number 6, which was the card from the future, says, where am I? This place looks unfamiliar. We only have 1 option and a 1 option only here. It says, ouch, somebody hit you in the head. We're going to lose 1 heart, gain 2 fear, and gain card number 9, but this card is going to go into the past. So at least this is a card that is not going to haunt us a second time. So the first thing we're going to do is we will lose a heart. Remember, if we lose our last heart, we will have to redo this entire chapter all over again. Let's gain 2 fear because something scary has just bonked us in the head and we have no idea what it happens to be. And then finally, we'll add card number 9. And again, since this is a red card, if you ever forget, follow the red arrows. And this card is going to go directly to the front, meaning that that's going to be the next card we're going to get. And this card is going to go into the past so we don't have to worry about it anymore. Next up is this brand new card we get to experience, which is going to be Falling Apples. Now, Falling Apples is nice and easy. It gives us 1 option, option A, but this card will go into the past. We're simply going to gain 5 food, which is great because I can carry 5 food exactly, no more, no less. And if you ever get resources, you don't have enough room for them, you get to lose the additional resources because you do have that maximum amount of storage. But we're going to get card 7 and card 8 that we are going to add into the future. So first things first, let's gain our 5 carrots. 1, 2, 3, 4, and finally, number 5. And I do think they did a great job with the components for this game. It's a really beyond phenomenal game looking, just considering this is a really family-friendly game. You got these very nice tokens with their little symbols on them. These are all wooden components. You have the nice board here. Everything here just looks so darn nice, especially for what you got. It's also a really cool insert that comes with the game. This is only just part of the insert. It's actually an insert for all these cards and everything. It's really nice. But finishing this up, we're going to see that card number 7. And card number 8 is going to go into the future, meaning there's not much left of the future left there at all. But we do have more cards to draw. And let's go and draw the next card, which is going to be card number 3, after we add this card back into the past. So Eila is going to be a very busy rabbit, but just not efficient yet because we don't have the tools to do this properly. We're simply going to gain 1 food. Unfortunately, I forgot to spend my food and to convert it into energy before I flipped over the next card because I was being forgetful. So let's go ahead and do that first before we actually handle the card, because I actually knew what card was coming because we didn't have many cards left over to pick from. So let's take the 2 food and let's convert that into 1 energy. Now let's go back to this card. We will gain 1 food from this card right here. We'll simply add that food right there just like that. And then we'll send this card into the future. Just like that. And then at this point, I think I'm going to take 2 more carrots. And let's go ahead and convert those 2 carrots into 1 more energy, because we know we're going to need that energy pretty darn soon. And the next card happens to be Mr. Deer's Grocery. Mr. Deer's Grocery, again, we have the option to spend coins for carrots or carrots for coins. I think we're actually doing okay at this point. Let's just go ahead and send this card into the future because time is going to keep slipping into the future. And finally, card number 4 we will get, which is, we know that's going to be the working part-time. I'm just going to go ahead and take, well, actually we can take 3 coins. I do have room for it. Why don't we actually do that? Let's spend the 1 energy. I'm sure these coins are going to have a purpose here very, very quickly in chapter number 0. No spoilers. Okay, spoiler alert. These coins are going to have a purpose here very, very quickly. So we'll take all the coins and then we'll send this card into the future. And now we get to go to the night phase. We have no cards or no tokens to put up here to finish our quest. We do have the energy to spend, which is going to go right over here, ending day number 3. And then we're going to shuffle this deck of cards right here. And this is going to give us our next goal and our next objectives, and it's going to advance the storyline. First up, card number 8. Card number 8, at the crossroads. Turn left, grab card 10. Turn right, grab card number 11. Well, if you ever played Doom on PC, you always know that you always turn left. So we're going to go ahead and choose turning left. Now the nice thing is this card is going to go into the future. So when we come to this crossroads, we'll eventually get to see what card number 11 happens to be. And we can pick that next time we happen to go down this road. So we're going to choose turning left. So let's send this card into the future. And then card number 10 will be our next card. Let's just go ahead and draw it right now because I don't think we want to do any conversions. So we get to see Chef Bear's Diner. Do you fancy a bite, Eila? So we have this option. One option and one option only. Yes, please, I'm starving. Now the interesting thing is this is going to be a new symbol that we have not seen before. This basically means that when this card is played, it's not going to go into the past or the future. It's going to go back to the deck it came from. But I can spend as many carrots as I want for as many equal amount of energy I want if I play this card. And we're seeing that we definitely need at least 1 energy, and we happen to have 2 carrots. Let's go ahead and take advantage of this. So let's spend 2 carrots, and let's go ahead and gain 2 energy, because I know I need at least 1 energy to do what I need to do in the future, and then we will send this card right back to the deck it came from, simply right there, just like that. Next card to come up is going to be card number 4. Don't think we need to put this one on the Eila cam. We are just going to gain 1 coin, or I can discard an energy for 3 coins. I don't think that's worth it. Let's send this card into the future. And finally, a new card we haven't seen yet, which is going to be Mr. Owl's Collections. Mr. Owl's Collection says, "Good day, Eila. You're just in time for new arrivals. I can spend 2 coins to gain a knowledge, or I can say maybe next time." Well, if we look over here on our board, we can see that we know that we need 1 knowledge to end the story. If I spend 2 coins, I can gain the knowledge. So let's go ahead and spend 2 coins right now. That will allow us to gain 1 knowledge, which I definitely have enough room for. And let's go ahead and add this card into the future. And let's go ahead and see if we can finish out the day, because we only have 2 cards left. First card is going to be the grocery. Let's go and spend 1 coin for a carrot just because we can. Actually, let's spend 2 coins for 2 carrots. Just because we definitely can. And slide this card into the future. And then our final card will come out, which will allow us to gain 1 carrot and allow us to end the day with 3 carrots and 3 coins, and we definitely have enough energy. So let's go ahead and do the sending of this into the future, and let's go ahead and move up our token right there, and we have completed the very first story, or in this case, chapter number 0, which is the prequel to the story, but at least now we can look at that comic book. So the prelude is something, like I said, we're not going to get in chapter number 0, but we're definitely going to get an ending, and these are nice, light-hearted little comic books. We're going to see Eila's going to wake up, do a big yawn, go check out the tree, take a nice little safety nap, enjoy the sun, go out on a nice rolling around in the grass, and then wake up the next morning, and they're going to see something shiny has their attention. And this is the story of Eila and Something Shiny. And now we got to find out what that something shiny is by going into chapter number 1. But to check out number 1's chapter, you need to check out the next video in the video series. Go ahead and check out the next video. But before you hop off further in your journey, don't forget that you can fill out Eila's diary, and there's a page for every single chapter, including the 0 chapter, where you can track the chapter finished, the items, the rewards, and little notes and story events that you had while you're going throughout your story in Eila and Something Shiny.